Last week, a 74-year-old woman told me something that stopped me cold. She said, "I didn't lose my strength in one big moment. I lost it in tiny moments nobody warned me about. The day standing up from a chair felt harder. The day her legs burned halfway up the stairs. The day a simple meal felt too heavy." But here's the twist. Her strength came back when she changed one thing no doctor ever explained. She started eating the foods her 70-year-old body can actually use. And there are 10 of them. The first one works faster than most proteins. Most people over 60 wake up the same way, even if they never talk about it out loud. You open your eyes, and before your feet even hit the floor, you can already tell what kind of morning it's going to be. There's that slow, heavy stiffness in the hips. The hands don't quite close into a fist yet. Your knees feel like they've been sitting out in the cold all night, and when you finally swing your legs over the side of the bed, you wait just a few seconds because you're not sure if your body is ready to hold you. You stand, but it doesn't feel solid right away. Your calves pull a little. Your lower back is tight. You take those first careful steps down the hallway, holding the door frame or the counter not because you're fragile, but because your body needs a warm-up now. 20 years ago, you could wake up and move without thinking. Now, your body asks for a negotiation every morning. And for most people, the first thought is, well, that's age. But what if I told you that what you feel in the morning isn't simply age catching up to you? It's something far more specific, far more predictable, and most importantly, something you can influence. Here is the truth no one explains. The morning is the peak of inflammation in older adults. Overnight, your body goes through repairs, cleanup, and immune resets. But after 60, those systems shift. Instead of waking up refreshed, many people wake up inflamed. That inflammation makes joints tight, muscles weak, and balance unsteady. And that's why the morning is the hardest part of the day, not because you're old, but because your biology starts the day irritated, not restored. And once you understand that, something even more important becomes clear. Most people are stuck in a loop they never knew existed. You wake up stiff and sore. Because you're stiff and sore, you move less. Because you move less, your blood flow slows and inflammation rises even more. And the foods you reach for quick breakfast meats, heavy proteins, pastries, coffee on an empty stomach add even more fuel to that inflammation. The cycle starts all over again the next morning, only a little worse. This is the part almost nobody talks about. People think inflammation is something that comes from injury or illness. But in older adults, chronic, low-grade inflammation often comes from breakfast. The very first meal of the day can either break the cycle or lock you deeper into it. And that brings me to something many of you have asked in the comments. Why does eating meat in the morning feel heavy? Why does an omelet sit in your stomach for hours, but a bowl of fruit or a plate of greens feels light? It isn't your imagination. After 60, your digestive system doesn't produce the same acid levels it used to. Your ability to break down protein drops. So instead of giving you strength, animal protein first thing in the morning often creates more inflammation, more sluggishness, and more stiffness. So let me introduce a different way to understand your body, something that can shift the way you look at your mornings forever. Your morning stiffness is not your body failing. It's your body communicating. It's sending signals, not symptoms. The problem is that no one teaches us how to read those signals. When you feel tight, your body is saying, "I need better blood flow." When your legs feel weak on the stairs, it's saying, "I'm inflamed and undernourished." When breakfast feels heavy, it's saying, "I can't break this down like I used to." These signals are not warnings, they're directions. They're instructions from your biology about what it needs right now. And this is where the inflammation loop becomes so important to understand, because once you know what causes it, you can break it. Many older adults wake up inflamed, eat foods that spike inflammation, then stay inflamed all day. The joints never fully recover. The muscles never fully turn back on. And over months and years, people lose strength not because their muscles disappear, but because inflammation blocks those muscles from working the way they were designed to. But here's the hopeful part. That loop can be broken faster than you think. And it starts with a simple question, a question that can change how you eat for the rest of your life. What is the most inflammatory food you eat in the morning? Most people guess sugar. Others guess bread. Some say processed breakfast meats, but the real answer is hidden in how your body absorbs, or fails to absorb, what you give it. And once you understand which foods your morning biology actually thrives on, everything begins to shift: your balance, your strength, your energy, even your inflammation levels. And that's where we're heading next. Because the foods that reduce inflammation the fastest aren't exotic, expensive, or complicated. They're simple, they're accessible, and they support the exact systems your body relies on to start the day strong. But before we go there, there's one more piece of the puzzle you need to understand, the part no doctor explained, but every older adult deserves to know. There comes a point, somewhere after 70, when many people realize something unsettling. The things that used to work for them simply don't anymore. The same breakfast they relied on for decades doesn't give them energy. The protein they were told to load up on feels heavy now. The workouts that once made them stronger leave them drained for hours. And instead of bouncing back, recovery takes longer, sometimes days. Most people blame age, but the truth is more specific. Your biology shifts, quietly, steadily, and it changes the rules without warning. One of the first changes happens in your stomach. When you were younger, your digestion worked like a powerful engine. You could break down steak, eggs, chicken, no problem. But after 70, stomach acid drops significantly. And because acid is what breaks protein apart, less acid means less protein actually reaches your muscles. This is why so many older adults say the same sentence: I eat enough, but I still feel weak. The food is there. The absorption isn't. The next shift is hormonal. Your body depends on anabolic hormones' growth signals to tell your muscles when to repair and rebuild. But after 70, those hormones don't shout anymore. They whisper. They whisper so quietly that even if you eat the same amount of protein you did at 40, your muscles may not respond with the same strength or recovery. The signal is weaker. The response is weaker. And slowly, strength slips through the cracks. Then there's circulation. Blood flow is one of the most underrated forces behind muscle health. It delivers nutrients, oxygen, amino acids, everything your muscles need to stay alive. But nitric oxide, the molecule that keeps blood vessels open, drops sharply with age. With less nitric oxide, blood flow slows, legs feel heavy, walking uphill feels harder. You're not out of shape, your circulation is simply restricted. And finally, the quietest force of all: inflammation. Not the kind that makes a joint swell, the kind that lingers under the surface, day after day, eating away at muscle tissue, slowing healing, interrupting digestion, and making every meal feel like a coin toss between okay and uncomfortable. This background inflammation, left unchecked, becomes a constant weight, dragging down every system you depend on. Put these 4 changes together: lower acid, weaker hormones, slower circulation, higher inflammation, and you get a simple but painful reality. The old strategies don't work anymore. The more protein, more meat, more reps approach becomes less effective, sometimes even counterproductive. And this is why so many people over 70 describe the same strange experience. Eating meat leaves them tired, but eating vegetables makes them feel lighter, clearer, more energized. It feels backwards. It feels almost wrong. But it's your biology telling the truth before your mind catches up. It's not that meat suddenly became bad. It's that your body no longer processes it the way it used to. To understand why, we need to zoom into one powerful shift that affects everything: your ability to absorb protein. Most older adults are never told what really happens to their digestion after 70. So let me paint a simple picture, one that will finally make this make sense. When you were 30, your digestive system worked like a strong blender. Whatever you put in: eggs, beef, chicken, your stomach acid broke it down into tiny pieces your body could use. But after 70, that blender's motor slows down. Not because you did anything wrong, but because acid production naturally falls by about 40%. And with less acid, protein stays in larger chunks. Larger chunks can't be used by your muscles. They pass through half-broken, half-absorbed, often leaving you bloated, tired, or uncomfortable. This is why so many people say, "I feel full, but not nourished," or "I eat meat, and it sits in my stomach," or "I feel more energized after a salad than a heavy breakfast." That is your digestion telling you, the rules have changed, and the consequences go deeper. When protein isn't properly broken down, your muscles receive less fuel. When muscles receive less fuel, they weaken faster. When they weaken faster, you move less. When you move less, circulation declines even more. And when circulation declines, inflammation rises even higher than before. This loop accelerates aging not because your body is failing, but because it's following a new script you were never taught to read. But here's the twist. None of this means your muscles can't grow. They absolutely can. What's changing isn't your potential, it's the strategy required to unlock it, and that strategy begins with understanding that your body is no longer looking for more protein. It's looking for foods that boost absorption, reduce inflammation, increase circulation, and support the hormonal signals you still have. Foods that get into the system without needing strong stomach acid. Foods your body can use immediately, no struggle, no bottleneck. And that's why vegetables suddenly become powerful at this stage of life. Not because they contain more protein, but because they support the systems that make protein usable again. This is where everything shifts. The question isn't why are eggs failing me? The real question is, what does my body absorb well now, and how do I work with it instead of against it? And to answer that, we need to flip the script. Because the solution isn't eating harder, it's eating smarter. And the science behind that shift is more surprising and more hopeful than most people realize. There's a moment in healthy aging that almost no one prepares us for. It's the moment you realize that the rules your body lived by at 30 simply don't apply at 70. And here's the paradox that shocks most people. When you were younger, your muscles depended on protein to fuel growth. But after 70, your muscles respond far more strongly to something completely different: nitrates, flavonoids, vitamin K, and the plant compounds most of us barely paid attention to in our earlier years. It sounds almost upside down. At 30, a chicken breast helped you build strength. At 70, a cup of leafy greens may do more for your muscles than that same chicken breast ever could. Not because protein stopped working, but because your body's priorities shifted. The key no longer lies in how much protein you eat, but in how well your body can use what you eat. This is the part nobody teaches us about aging. It's not that your body weakens, it reroutes its operating system. It switches from a protein-driven engine to a circulation-driven, inflammation-driven, absorption-driven engine. And once you understand that shift, everything you've been feeling suddenly makes sense. That's why we're not going to look at vegetables as foods in the traditional sense. We're going to look at them the way scientists now do, as biochemical tools that activate 3 biological systems your muscles absolutely depend on after 70. Think of it as 3 doors, each one unlocking a part of your strength. The first door is the nitrate system, your circulation switch. Nitrate-rich vegetables relax your blood vessels and dramatically increase blood flow. After 70, nitric oxide production drops, which means oxygen and nutrients move more slowly through the body. Spinach, arugula, beet greens, romaine, celery, these don't just nourish you. They reopen the highways that deliver fuel to your muscles. The second door is the anti-inflammation system, your recovery switch. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the biggest reasons older adults feel weaker. It silently eats away at muscle fibers. Vegetables like tomatoes, bell peppers, broccoli, and sweet potatoes calm that inflammation and protect your muscles during everyday movement. They don't just reduce pain. They create the environment muscles need to stay intact. The third door is the absorption and energy system, your efficiency switch. After 70, digestion slows, stomach acid drops, and the body loses some ability to extract energy from food. Mushrooms, kale, edamame, and cruciferous vegetables support nutrient absorption, hormone signaling, and mitochondrial energy, all of which help your muscles use the protein you do eat. When you combine these systems, something powerful happens. The whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Your muscles aren't just fed, they're signaled, protected, circulated, and energized. Let me share a story that illustrates this shift. It's about a woman named Eleanor, 74 years old. She had always been active, gardening, walking, taking care of her grandkids. But over a few years, she noticed something slipping. Getting up from the couch took effort. Holding a grocery bag felt heavier than it should. She doubled her protein. She tried protein shakes. She even tried resistance bands. Nothing changed. What finally made the difference wasn't more effort, it was a different strategy. Her doctor suggested adding 3 nitrate-rich and anti-inflammatory vegetables consistently for 4 weeks: spinach, tomatoes, and mushrooms. That was it. Not a long list. Not a complete diet overhaul. Just 3 simple additions. By week 2, she told her doctor, "I don't know why, but my legs feel lighter." By week 4, she said, "I can climb stairs without holding the railing." And by week 6, she said something that stunned even her doctor. "I feel like my body woke up." Because once her circulation opened, once her inflammation dropped, once her digestion improved, her muscles could finally respond again. The problem had never been effort. The problem had been strategy. But I know what many of you are wondering, because I've seen the comments 1,000 times. What if I have diabetes? What about gout? Can I eat this with kidney issues? What if I'm on blood thinners? That's why before we go any deeper, I want to give you something that brings peace of mind, not fear. A simple framework that explains when certain vegetables act almost like medicine, and when they need to be adjusted. Many people ask, if I have diabetes, gout, or kidney issues, can I still eat these vegetables? The answer is yes, but with awareness of how your body reacts. Nitrates aren't sugar. What matters is how much carbohydrate comes with the vegetable. Beetroot juice, for example, can raise blood sugar if you drink too much. But smaller servings, 4 to 6 ounces, give you circulation benefits without the spike. Spinach contains purines, but they behave differently from purines in red meat. If you're in a gout flare, reduce it temporarily. When stable, half a cup cooked is typically well tolerated. And if you're taking blood thinners, vitamin K isn't the enemy. Inconsistency is. Your medication works best when your intake of leafy greens is steady, not when it suddenly jumps up or down. Vegetables are powerful because they work with your biology, but the right adjustments make them safe and effective for your unique body. And now that we've cleared that barrier, the fear, the uncertainty, you're ready to see the full picture, not a random list of vegetables. A structured map that shows exactly how each food unlocks a different part of your strength. Because when you stop thinking of these vegetables as side dishes and start recognizing them as biological keys, something shifts. You stop fighting your age. You start partnering with your body. And that's the moment real strength begins to return. No one ever teaches us how to age the right way. We learn how to grow up, how to work, how to raise families, how to push through stress. But when it comes to aging, most of us are left to figure things out alone. And because of that, many people assume weakness, fatigue, slower muscles, and longer recovery are simply part of getting older. But what if the real truth is this? We were never shown how to support a body that now operates under a completely different rule book. Our generation is aging in a way no generation before us has. People are living longer, but we're moving less. Our diets have changed. Our daily environments are more sedentary. We spend more time indoors, more time sitting, and far more time in states of low, persistent inflammation. Our parents and grandparents didn't face this combination. They aged in a world where food was less processed, movement was built into daily life, and stress had a different shape. So when you feel your legs tiring quicker, when you feel your balance isn't what it used to be, when a simple walk leaves you more winded than expected, it's not because you've done something wrong. It's because no one taught us the biology of aging in the modern world. And without that knowledge, most people try to fight age with the wrong tools: more protein, more effort, more force, when the body is quietly asking for something else: alignment, circulation, anti-inflammatory nutrition, and steadiness. Once you understand that, something shifts. Aging becomes less about decline and more about updating the strategy. And one of the simplest, most powerful strategies is learning how to use vegetables not as random healthy foods, but as targeted tools that fit your unique body after 70. The goal isn't perfection. It's consistency paired with the right biological mechanisms. To make this simple, I want to break down the vegetables we've talked about into 3 easy groups. Think of them as categories you can rotate through based on what your body needs, what you enjoy, and what fits your daily routine. Group 1. The circulation boosters. These are your nitrate-rich vegetables: spinach, arugula, beets, beet greens, romaine, celery. They help open blood vessels, improve leg oxygenation, and give your muscles the delivery system they're missing as nitric oxide naturally declines. When your legs feel heavy, cold, or slow, Something from this group can be a game changer. Group 2. The inflammation, calmers, tomatoes, bell peppers, sweet potatoes, broccoli, and other antioxidant-rich vegetables fall here. They reduce the low-grade inflammation that quietly drains strength from older adults. These are perfect for days when you feel achy, puffy, swollen, or stiff. Group 3. The absorption and energy lifters. This is the group that supports your digestion, mitochondria, and hormone signaling. Kale, mushrooms, edamame, cruciferous vegetables, they help your body use protein more effectively and restore the energy engine behind your muscles. Here is where aging gets easier. You don't need all 10 vegetables every day. You don't need complicated recipes. You don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle. What you do need is a simple principle, something I call the swap rule for the 70-plus body. It works like this. If you can't eat spinach today, swap it with romaine or arugula. If tomatoes bother your stomach, swap them with bell peppers. If kale feels too tough to digest, swap it with lightly steamed broccoli. If beets raise your blood sugar, swap them with celery or beet greens. If edamame doesn't sit well, swap it with mushrooms for the same energy support. Every swap stays within the same biological system. So you're never losing benefits, just choosing a version your body prefers. This is the flexibility most older adults never knew they were allowed to have. And once you learn it, you realize aging isn't about restriction, it's about customization. Let me give you an example. A viewer named Thomas, 76, wrote to us saying he couldn't eat kale because it upset his stomach. He assumed that meant he was failing the plan, but all he needed was a swap 2 cups of arugula 3 times a week. Within a month, he said his morning stiffness had improved and he could walk his dog longer without resting. Not because he forced his body to tolerate something, but because he chose a vegetable that worked with his biology, not against it. That's the heart of healthy aging, not perfection, but alignment. You don't need strict diets. You don't need extreme programs. You don't need to get every nutrient perfect every single day. What you need is a steady rhythm, small, consistent signals that tell your body, I'm giving you what you need to stay strong. Strength after 70 isn't built by pushing harder, it's built by working smarter, by choosing foods that open blood flow, calm inflammation, and support absorption, by rotating your vegetables based on how your body feels that week, by trusting that your muscles can still respond when the right environment is created for them. And this is the part most people never hear. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's been waiting for you to learn how it works now, not how it worked decades ago. When you understand that, aging stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like a partnership. As we reach the end of this video, I want to bring us back to one simple truth. Your body has never been your enemy. It hasn't betrayed you, and it hasn't suddenly become defective with age. What actually happened is that after 70, your biology changed, but the advice you were given did not. And when the strategy no longer matches the system, even the strongest person will feel weaker. But the moment you realign the strategy with the biology, everything shifts. Blood begins flowing better, inflammation settles down, digestion becomes smoother. Muscles start responding again slowly at first, and then more noticeably week by week. And the most powerful part? You don't need extreme workouts or complicated diets. You don't need to become someone new. You simply need to support the body you already have. Because strength, at this stage of life, isn't measured in big muscles or long gym sessions. It's measured in moments. The moment you stand up without bracing on the armrest. The moment you climb a staircase and feel less strain. The moment you bend down to pick something up without worrying about losing your balance. The moment you realize, my body is listening again. That's the real goal. Not perfection. Not youth. Not an ideal version of yourself. Just the simple joy of being strong enough to live your life, your real, everyday life, with confidence and ease. So I want to give you a gentle, practical, 21-day action plan you can start right after this video. Nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming, just 3 weeks to help your body regain momentum. Week 1. Rebuild blood flow. Choose 1 nitrate-rich vegetable each day, spinach, arugula, celery, romaine, or beets. Not all 5, just 1. Add it to lunch or dinner. You're not trying to eat perfectly. You're teaching your blood vessels how to open again. Week 2. Calm the chronic inflammation. Add 1 anti-inflammatory vegetable daily: tomatoes, bell peppers, sweet potatoes, broccoli, carrots, or purple vegetables. Pair it with a source of healthy fat to help absorption, like olive oil, avocado, nuts, or seeds. This is the week most people begin noticing lighter joints and easier movement. Week 3. Support absorption and muscle signaling. Add 1 vegetable from the absorption and energy category: kale, mushrooms, cruciferous vegetables, or edamame. These are the foods that help your body actually use the protein you eat. This is often the turning point when stamina returns. 1 vegetable a day from each weekly focus. That's it. 3 small steps over 3 small weeks. You are not changing your identity or your lifestyle, just changing the inputs so your body can do what it's been trying to do all along. And here's something important I want you to hold on to. Progress at 70 or 80 doesn't look like progress at 30 or 40. At younger ages, progress is about adding more reps, more workouts, more protein, more intensity. But in your 70s, progress is about subtraction. Less inflammation, less blockage, less pressure, less friction. When the obstacles disappear, the strength you thought was gone finally has room to show itself again. Your muscles still want to work. Your heart still wants to support you. Your cells still want to repair themselves. Your body still wants to move forward quietly, steadily, patiently. The question is simply whether you give it the environment it needs. I want you to imagine something for a moment. It's 3 months from now. You stand up from a chair, and instead of feeling that heavy push, your body responds the way it used to. You walk up a set of stairs without stopping halfway. You feel stable, grounded, secure. Maybe you're even outside playing with your grandchildren again. That feeling of being able to participate in your own life is the ultimate measure of strength. And you deserve that. Not someday. Not after getting everything right. You deserve it now. At this age, in this chapter. So before we close, I want to leave you with 1 sentence I hope stays with you longer than anything else in this video. Strength after 70 isn't about the muscles you have, it's about the confidence you feel inside your own body. If today's video gave you hope, clarity, or a new perspective, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below and tell me 2 things: your age and which vegetable you want help swapping for your health condition. I'll read every comment and create the next video based on what you need most. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe. It helps us bring more science-based guidance to more people who truly need it. Here's to staying strong, staying steady, and staying in control of your life, no matter your age.